Welcome to another Writing Center video. This video is about archival databases and navigating those databases in order to find primary research. Because we should start researching with a topic in mind, I've decided to discuss women, something I've written about before in this class, while still considering my class topic, Inquiry into Public Health. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the library webpage and navigate over to Research Support and Research Guides, and scroll all the way down to English 102. The librarians have made some wonderfully helpful guides that should definitely be used. So we're going to go over to the historical and primary sources and click for the primary sources guide. And the librarians have basically organized some useful databases by topic. So like I said, my research question wants to focus on women. So I'm going to go over to gender. I want to go to women specifically, so let's go there. Everyday life and women in America, 1800 to 1920. This really fits with my research project that I have to do. I have to talk about something before 1900, and then everyday life and women. So this sounds pretty great. Let's see what kind of public health things were taught to women, that kind of sort of thing. One thing to keep in mind with archival research is that it's kind of fun to explore, and that's part of what we're doing, is just exploring what's out there and not really coming down with something to study, but just kind of like a general topic, and then seeing what the archives have for you. So one thing that every archive pretty much has is some sort of explore option, or somewhere where it shows you some thematic areas. So you can usually search, this one's got by dates. But like I said, I'm really interested in public health, and that's my class topic, so I want to see what I can find over here. So we've got medicine. So this will drop down here. It's got some hyperlinks in here. You can read a little bit about that. But even here, this one seems to fit my time constraint. Transactions of the Mississippi State Medical Association at the 4th annual meeting. Sounds super interesting, I know, but you never know what you're going to find. So I'm going to click actually on this other one here, Guns, Domestic Medicine, or The Poor Man's Friend, and see what the database actually looks like. So you get in here, it has a detail page, and you can click on any one of these pages and get a close-up view and actually read from your own computer, read what these older sources have to say. So we can flip through the pages up here and generally just read around. Now, this is a database that's pretty user-friendly. You can get back out to the main page. You can go and explore different time periods. Not every database is quite so user-friendly. So let's go back over to the research guide the librarians have created again. And let's look at a database that looks very different. So we have HEARTH, Home Economics Archives. That again fits with our date restrictions, so that's really nice. So let's look to see what this one looks like. It's a little bit less user friendly. It's hard to tell, but these are actually things that you can click on. It's hard to tell, but these are actually things that you can click on over here. And like the other database, we want to go by subject or some sort of guide. Someone else has looked at this database. It's got a ton of information in here. You shouldn't be expected to know your way around it, so use what others have provided. So let's go over to food and nutrition, and it looks like they've got an essay. So it's got some general information, which might be useful for contextual stuff. But then it says at the bottom here that they have created a bibliography of the sources that are in the database. So let's click over here, and as you can see, there's a lot of just sources listed, and I know because I've looked at this file before, this is about 75 pages of just citations. So it's a little hard to navigate and see what you could look at versus the other database. What you can do is go through and look for titles that sound interesting, and then you go and search for them using the database search feature. These lists sometimes aren't totally updated, so you might have to look around to see what you can find, but this is what you will be shown, and it's not, may not have another option. Luckily with this database, We can browse, another way into this, and we can browse by time period. So let's go to the 1881, and it shows you sources that were produced at this time. Again, we wanted to focus on women and health. And let's go over here, hygiene for girls. So like the other ones, you've got a detail page. You can go into the table of contents and see what's there. And again, it shows you what's in the text, and you can browse through it kind of like you would a book. So don't be afraid to click around and to keep up new tabs, so you can easily go back to previous sources, see what you can find, and be curious. Go for things that sound a little bit interesting to you and start trying to read some of the introductory matter on some of these sources. You can find stuff, but the archives will usually be where you find your research question, more specific research questions. You can have topics that you're interested in, but know that there's a lot of material out there to be analyzed. So don't worry about finding stuff. If you do need help finding stuff, come into the Writing Center, see a research librarian, they can help too. If you want help understanding what you're seeing, come into the Writing Center with the source and we will totally help you. But there's a ton of archival research that you can do from your own dorm, from your own couch, whatever you want to do. And it's a lot of really interesting stuff that you probably didn't think you'd find. So thank you very much for listening to the video, and come into the Writing Center and we can help you out.